Yes, oneness. Change your mind can change your life. Changing your mind, you change your frequency, you change the vibration and everything around you. Change begins with, and it begins inside of yourself. It begins with a thought. I personally believe the mind is not something that is located inside of your brain, but it is a universal frequency that all ones can tap into. You're tuning in to the right frequency. The life force or the life energy that we all carry connects us. It connects us within the oneness of all things. For we are connected through life energy. So that same frequency, that same energy that give you life and keep you alive is the same frequency and the energy that keeping each one within the connection alive. So the mind, I personally believe, is not something that is within the brain, but it's a universal frequency, an energy that all ones can tap into. Once you tune in, it's a love, blessed love to ones and ones. The mind is something that I personally believe is not inside your brain, but it's a universal energy that all being, all ones can tap into, that frequency of mind. And it is the most powerful thing as far as I believe within myself. I don't think nothing else within creation is more powerful than your mind, because out of your mind comes all creation. All creation that we see and now have and now use comes from the mind, comes out of the mind, comes out of a thought. Where does these thoughts come from? Where does these frequencies come from? Where man thinks about and create technology and create devices that transform life. It is a oneness, the frequency of the mind, where if you are tuned in, you can find that frequency and you can find that energy and you can be enlightened within yourself. You can become more aware of what you consider to be mysterious and the things that is mystery to you. Blessed love again. Heights to the ones them forwarding on the live, wherever you are, big up yourself. Wherever you are, much love and joy and harmony and prosperity to you wherever you are. Wherever you're there on the life. You know. They say today is a Sunday of the SUN day. Now even the teachings of the mind of the concept of Christ was in this, the concept of one mind. the Christ mind. Right? Now, what that is can be a range of things to people, right? But when you know yourself, you can find truth if you seek within yourself. Study for yourself, seek for yourself, and you will know. You will know. You don't have to believe what he say, she say, here say, who say. You could know for yourself when you tap into yourself. You tune into that frequency of oneness, that frequency of all, the frequency of all life and all things. The frequency that give all life is the same energy and frequency that reside in you. And you are a mighty and powerful being. You are a creative being. Right? This is why we create things. We are creators within our own aspects, within our own divinity of creation. We are powerful beings. You must remember who you are. I am myself, I'm remembering and still growing to know, but understanding that we are not just what you see on the outside and what appears to be this flesh and this bone and this blood and this looks. We are deeper than that. We are divine beings, creative beings, beings of highly intelligence. Right? And the things that we can do, we know not even to the limit and the extent of what we can do. Some of us have achieved great enlightenment within self. Some of us find oneself and do great things, unbelievable things. Blessed love, it's a love, I want that one dog, I want that. I'm not sure what that image is, but the power of the mind is universal. Right? It is a thing where it's not in the brain. I could give you an example why I think the mind is not in the brain. Right? I could give you an example why I believe that to be true. Blessed love, I, it's a majesty, it's a love to the ones I'm on the life. I will give you an example why I believe the mind is not inside of your brain, right? I'll give you an example. I could have a thought right now, or someone could have a thought, and within that same thought, someone out there thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Now, how is that? If you have an individual mind, the mind is not individual, it is universal, universal. We are all connected. So this is why we could have the same thoughts, and we could think alike, and we cannot meditate the same things. So you change your mind, and you can change your life, you can change the frequency, you can change all. You can change a thing that is negative and turn it positive. You have the power to change. You and you alone have the power to change. Once you change your mind, everything change, everything else follow. Because it's mind over matter. So the mind tells the body within the sense of the movements, right? Many ones do things and don't know why they do things. Follow things and don't know why they follow it. They just do it because other people do it. They never ask themselves why they're following what they're following. They just follow it. Right? They just follow it, go along to get along. It's a cycle. We repeat the same days over and over, and they come again. It is plain to see the programming. If you only just take a moment at a time and look, how do you change that? You change the mindset. You change the mind, the frequency of your mind, and how you look at things and how you view life. And don't be afraid to go deep. Don't be afraid to dig. Don't be afraid to seek within the inner heights of oneself. Don't be afraid to find out truth, as scary as it might be. Don't reject it. Right? They said the truth will set you free. But in how and in which way does the truth set you free? Because if you're in a court of law and you know and you tell the truth of something, it might put you in jail. So in the metaphor of saying the truth will set you free is within yourself, within your heart, within your soul, within your inner being. How do we love? And then love turn hate. How does love turn hate? How does love turn resentment? How does love turn disgust? How do you say you love me, and then as life go, you don't love me no more? How can you say your love is pure when the love that we speak of and the love that we be of is like whenever you do something that you don't like and you change you don't love no more? Was it love from the start? What I'm saying is that when something is pure, no matter how you do or what you do, when it is pure, it can never dilute or change from that pureness of what it truly is. To the core, it will always be what it is. To the core of it. Now, today is a Sunday. Many people go to church on this day and worship on this day. And I was reading a scripture. When was it? Yesterday? Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday. I was reading a scripture. And I wanted to reason about the scripture. And it might sound crazy or mad to people when you hear what I'm about to say. But we know that a lot of lies was told within the writings, and a lot of things was hidden. And what has become very clear to me, very clear, and I'm going to explain within the scriptures. I truly see how the stories was turned and flipped upside down, inside out. And I could see now clearly how the lies feel better than the truth. Now there's a scripture where we're talking from the very beginning within Genesis, where we talk about the making and the creation of man. And when man was created, Adam, and he needed a companion, Eve. And they was in the garden and they was given command. And the command was to not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That was the command. They could do anything else, eat anything, but they should not eat from that tree. This was forbidden. Now, while I was reading this carefully again, because I read this scripture so many times and heard this so many times, but I didn't see this. While I was reading this, I realized when God gave that command, He gave that command to Adam. He gave that command to Adam. Adam then told Eve, we're presuming that God told him what the command was. And then she go to the garden. She's in the garden. And how was she tempted? She was tempted by the serpent, the Bible said. But my question now is, what I realized was, the serpent or the devil or Satan, whatever you call him, that being could not do anything without God's command. You hear me? Do you hear me? Lucifer, Satan, the devil, whoever you call him, the opposition of God, he cannot, or that being cannot, do anything within its own or his own authority. It's got to come from the command of God. And I'm going to prove it to you. In the book of Job, God was in the assembly amongst the gods reasoning, and Lucifer appeared. And God said to Lucifer, where you came from? Like, how could you even ask that, being God, right? But he asks, where you come from? And he said, I travel to and fro the earth. This is Lucifer speaking. So God said, did you see my servant Job, who is J-O-B, which is Job, J-O-B, job that we do now? He said, do you see my servant Job? He said, yeah, I see him. He said, Job is a good servant. And he's a faithful servant. And he said, Job is only faithful to you because you give him everything. This is Lucifer and God talking. In the book of Job, you could go look it up. Lucifer said, you give him everything, so that's why he worship you. And he obey you. And then he said that if you take them away from him, he will curse him to his face. This is what Lucifer said. So while he said that, God then told him, he gave him the authority. He said, listen, you could go and do things and do whatever to him, but don't take his life. He gave him the command to go and hurt this man or test this man. Faith. God gave him the command. So I'm saying, without the command or the Creator or God giving him the command to go and do that, he couldn't do it. So the point I'm making is this. Even in the book of Genesis, I realized that Lucifer was acting on the command of God. And you could don't believe or believe what you want to believe. This is not I'm not saying for you to take whatever you know. People is people, and you have your own free will to think what you wish and to believe what you wish. But ask yourself, ask yourself, why is it that if the devil is such an evil force or a wicked force, why then would God let that live? Why not get rid of that? Get rid of evil, right? Because the point of it is oneness. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. You hear people talking about spaceship approaching Earth and what they've seen or what they believe to be true. But what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? How do you prepare yourself for whatever that is coming? How do you get ready? Being whatever it is. How do you get ready? How do we prepare? How do you prepare for something that they tell you, oh, there's a comet coming close to Earth, or there is an object coming close to Earth, and we don't know, and this and that and that. Even so, I'm saying, how do we prepare for this? How do we be ready? How do you get yourself ready for the unknown? How do you prepare yourself? Words can't believe anything, but when we know, we know. And when you're confronted with truth, sometimes it's hard for you to deal with it. And not everyone like built within the levels that can deal with the truth when the truth hit you. Cause the truth click hard. The truth can beat you hard. But it says, seek ye first the kingdom of the Almighty, and all will be added unto you. So where is the kingdom? The kingdom is within yourself. Is within that's mind. Your mind is golden. The mind is golden. Protect your frequency, protect your thoughts, protect your energy. Sight. Nobody never said it was gonna be easy. If everything was easy, then what would it be like, right? Nothing would have been incredible. no one would have been nothing special because everyone can do it. So it's not about it being easy, it's about challenge. And the challenge first starts with the mind. If we can't control the mind, what else you gonna control if you cannot control your thoughts? If you cannot control your thoughts, what are you gonna control? What are you gonna control if you can't control the thoughts? If you can't control your own mind and your thoughts, what will you be able to control? No one never said it was gonna be easy. This journey of life. We live and we learn and we keep learning. And if you're living and you're not learning, then you're a dead spirit. Or you shall die within that time because you must learn in order to grow. That's how one can live on within learning, you adapt. So don't be afraid to try, don't be afraid to make mistakes, don't be afraid to fail. Side. It's love, oneness, peace within honesty. Until time, stay hopeful. The Almighty keep on a cup full.